All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the second in our interview series. And I'm excited for this one. Today I'm joined by MoonLander, which I'm going to kind of, you know, I know MoonLander very well, but I'm excited for you guys to get to know him as well. But, one thing I'm really excited to kind of, discuss with you and interview you on is uh, a lot about, an artist's opinion and an artist's day-to-day life, and also your opinions with AI, because a lot of the content that we do on this channel is mostly producer focused, especially, coming from myself as someone who has been a beat maker, been a producer for the longest time, and that's my background. A lot of the stuff that we often talk about here on the channel is producer stuff, but I'm really excited to have an artist on board. So man, thank you for joining me here.
Hey,
But
Thanks for having me, man. Thank you.
so if you guys don't know MoonLander, I think we've even, reviewed some of your stuff in some of our live streams that we do. But MoonLander, he's I guess, a pop, a rap, and basically multi-genre artist who's kind of dipping into everything now. Singer, songwriter from North Carolina, and I know you've been on just a crazy run recently, releasing songs independently almost on, I guess, a weekly basis, which is again one of the points I want to talk to you about. But just the consistency and the output and the work ethic is something that I've always inspired. I know that you and I have been working kind of closely with planning this stuff, and it's awesome just to see this vision and all this work pay off. And I know that in the past you've also collaborated with some sort of big names in this space, Nic D, Skizzy Mars, SoMo. Recently, Iyaz for a remake, kind of remix, modern version of one of his older viral songs, which is awesome. And I know that you've been a touring artist as well, which is something that, for me is just a whole different world. And I know a few years back I got to come out and see you in Toronto, which was crazy. And just kind of seeing everything, like I said, that whole different world, that whole different space is totally different from what I do, just sitting at home making beats all day. But it's just amazing to see the stuff that you're doing. And like I was saying, it's you are someone that I've been fortunate to collab with for a number of years now, and I know that we've kind of become very close through music, through these virtual sessions like that, and it's been awesome, man. But yeah, I just want to say thank you for joining, and I want to hear more about your journey, MoonLander. How did you get started, and what got you into music and everything up to this point?
First of all, I want to say Omito sounds like a great podcaster. I'm liking it. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel in here. What up, y'all? My name is MoonLander. I guess some background. One, you're in my studio right now. The camera is like it looks like I'm like looking up because my monitor's above here and the camera's right here. So when you see me like this, just know I am looking at you talking.
I'm the same, and I like never know exactly where to
I feel
look.
like yours is like better. I feel like I'm just like this when I'm talking. Like you're like you watching me. But anyways, y'all, my name's MoonLander. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. I started making music when I was 13 years old. There's just some things like in life. Obviously, we don't remember when we were like riding our first bike, or maybe some people do. But like, there's like core like memories you have of like I feel like things that you like shouldn't remember, but you do. So it's like to me always like sticks out. Like I feel like there's a reason. Like there's like been breadcrumbs my whole life of like music being around me. Like when I started, like I was obsessed with music. Like never once thought about making it, never once thought about singing it, like, but just was obsessed. Like always had a CD player, like always had to have a CD player with me. I remember when the iPod started coming out. I don't know why, but like I'm pretty sure a lot of people like downloaded their songs on LimeWire. Did you ever do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we had the PC computers. We had a computer room like
Yeah.
shared by the whole family. So my older brothers would always be on it, and I'd be like, the second I got a chance, I'd be like, I'm in. But I remember being like obsessed. I'd download all these songs, and I would hate downloading like because they're obviously like illegal songs.
Yeah.
But like when it didn't have the cover art, like I hated that. Like
I was
cover
just
art,
saying too, I needed everything to be formatted like
yeah.
perfectly.
I used to go like Google search like cover art for this song, and like sometimes it would never be the right one. It'd be like a blurry one, but I was like, I can't. I gotta have the cover
Yeah.
art. So every song had the cover art, but throughout, I remember this one like core memory too. I was in the shower, like probably like 8 years old, and I was singing. My mom's like, "You should sing," and I was like, "Shut up, mom!" Like that's such a mom thing for you to say because I don't feel like I'm good at all. But anyways, I basically my mom got remarried, so I kind of had to move like a whole new like school, right? Which like at the time I'm like, when you're a little kid, you got all your friends over at the other
Yeah.
school. It's like, no. But went to this other school and I feel like it was like a completely different experience. Like the one school I went to was very like it was like a brand new school versus like I went to another one. It was like literally like they're about to close it down the next year. So like it was like
Okay.
went from like nice to like you could tell it's been there for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And like just like the experience in there was like so different. Like the people I was surrounded with. I remember I had these two friends. They ended up becoming my best friends. Uh, one is still like my musical best friend, but his name is Trey Ahmad. His name was That Kid Taz at the time, and I remember there's a song by Asher Roth. It's called "I Hate High School." I think that's what it's
Okay.
called.
Yeah.
And he remixed it and made a version called like "I Hate Middle School." And I
Okay.
remember he made like again when you used to make your own cover art, I think you used to make it like on like Word or something. Like it
Yeah,
looked
or
really
like MS
terrible.
Paint.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the size would be like I think I made some that was just like rectangles, like
Yeah, or
would
like
never
I
even
think
fit on like an album
yeah,
cover.
I think you also could go on MySpace and make your pictures like that,
Okay.
like the weird text and stuff. But anyways, he dropped the song. Is again, I don't know why you remember things like this, but he dropped it. And I remember being like, he's so cool. Like he's just so like just like being able to be like in eighth grade and like having like I guess like a swag of like what you want to do and like
Yeah, and
stuff
making
like that.
something, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, to me, he's always been good. Like even in eighth grade, like he could spit. But I remember they would just come over all the time. We would just do like I was like my first like ever like goal in life was to like I always thought I was like super funny. Like I used to win like class clown awards like elementary school. That was like if I didn't win class clown award, like my life was
Yeah.
like it's I don't know why I shoot it for that. But like I really wanted to be on SNL. So like I used to be like I always used to make like YouTube videos like with my brother. We used to make like skits even when we didn't even know we were making skits. Like we were making skits. And he came over one night and he brought his mic, probably like a $50 mic. He's like, "Y'all want to rap?" And we're just kids like hanging out. We're like, "Yeah, well, yeah, I would love to rap. Yeah, like let's do it." So we remixed Kanye West song, and I remember I just like was like rapping. Like I remember I one of the lines I had was like, "It's your boy Little Pickles." Like I make all the girls giggle, like some weird thing like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but I was like, bro, I just loved it. Like I just was like, this is so fun. I obviously thought it was good too, but so
Yeah.
I remember I asked my pops. It was like around Christmas time, so I asked my pops to get me a mic. I think I got like a $100 mic, and then I just started like going in on songs. Like I was like so like I think it like triggered my like director's mindset of
Yeah.
like seeing visions and stuff. And so I remember I started. My name was Lil Pickles at the time because at the time I thought like in order to rap you had to have little in front of your name because
Yeah.
everyone was Lil something. So Lil Pickles, I started that. I very quickly would tell people like my name's Lil Pickles. They'd be like immediately you just like laugh. I'm like so didn't like that. I was like they're laughing at my name. So in middle school my middle name's Houston, so like all my friends would be like Houston or like Houston, we have a problem, like very like spacey.
Yeah.
And I also was like obsessed with Kid Cudi at the time. Like his music
Okay,
used to
yeah.
like
Man on the Moon, yeah.
yeah, his music used to like get me high, and obviously I wasn't doing drugs. Like I would just
Yeah.
be like there was a different time when like music, like I think when you were younger, would just take you there. But we had to watch in eighth grade. I wanted a new name. We had to watch like a robot baby. They literally gave you like
Oh,
a
okay. I
robot.
never had to do that.
Yeah. No
I
one
missed out
no
on
one I've
that.
ever heard of had to do it, but this school like they had them in a closet and they made you do it.
I see it in all the TV shows.
So we had to watch it for a whole weekend, and I was like, I really want my baby. Again, I'm just a funny guy. I wanted my name, my baby to have a funny name because you literally had to take it everywhere. Like you had like a
Yeah.
baby car seat. Like you're in the
Yeah.
grocery store, like you got it with you. Like so many people would think it's a real baby, and they're like, oh, like. But I wanted it to have a funny name, so I looked up worst baby names. I was in health class one day, worst baby names. And then I saw the name Moonlander on the worst baby names. So I was like,
I feel like that's not the worst baby name out there. I've like I've
I don't,
heard a
I
lot
want to know
worse.
who, hey, where's the real Moonlander? Please stand up. That's all I'm saying. But so started when I was 13. That's how I got my name. And we've been rocking. We've been rocking.
Man, that's awesome. So I feel like you and I have kind of like similar like backgrounds, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this can relate. Like just kind of like discovering music, at an early age in elementary school or grade school or whatever, and then just kind of having so much fun like making it and kind of like being obsessed with it, right? Like, when I first downloaded FL Studio and was making beats, like I was just all the time just making music. Like that was like my sports, that was my video game, that was just like everything to me, right? And it was just like it was so much fun. But there was one thing that, you kind of mentioned that I think, seeing you now and especially seeing you perform like definitely pays off. This kind of, personality that you have and this personal brand, right? You said that you're always someone who likes to create, you're energetic, used to make all these skits with your brothers back in the day, right? And kind of even being like that class clown. And, you know, I know that like, having a sort of a personality and a brand image definitely pays off. But for you, like how important is it like to have that kind of personal brand with Moonlander?
I think every artist, I'm actually doing like a artist conference in October. So like I
Okay.
have to like also like locked in on questions like this.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, right? There's especially for one, I want to say I used to have Omito beats playing when I was 14. Like that's another thing that's like one of the memory things I was talking about. Like I remember every time Omito beats,
The super robotic thing,
like
right?
it's like me. It's like it's cool to like we were almost together, but still like we
Yeah.
like would end up like
And then
being
years later, we're just
together.
working,
Yeah,
and now we're doing this, right?
yeah. So that's always sick. But there's so many people like in our, especially right now, like even like I would say 5 years ago, there were still so many people doing music, but like I think it just got so much easier for anyone to be
Yeah.
able to make music. And some people make great music. Like some people can
Yeah.
sing, some people can, but I think there's a difference between being able to make great music and being like an artist because
I like that. Yeah.
the artist is the marketing, it is the brand, it is the person. Like it is like there's a million people you can like their song, but that doesn't mean you want to go buy a ticket to see them in a show because
Yeah.
I feel like liking someone as an artist is what really brings you from a different level of like, oh, I like their music or I like them like as a person and the artistry they have. And I also think being able to like tone in and lock in on your true artistry like makes the music more able to like sink into and be able to like be like, oh wow. And that's also why I think some of my friends don't like it, but like I like to just be like super open like with what's going on in my life and like I maybe share
Yeah.
too much information, but it's also like I like people knowing so then it's like when something happens and I drop a song they're like, "Oh, like did you see like here's the reason why. Like did you see that?" Like almost letting people feel like involved in like what even me and you are doing or
Yeah. And that
what's being
connection, right?
created. It's
Yeah.
like, dang, I can't believe he made a song. Like, I knew that that happened, but like, I didn't know he could make that into a song. Like,
Yeah.
so I think for artists out there, also, like, I know it's not something you can just be like, I'm locked in, but
Yeah.
like, trying, like, and understanding that, like, just being able to sing and make a good song, like, is only 10% of, it's literally only 10% of this music thing we're in now.
Definitely. No, I like what you said about like there's a difference between like, having someone who makes songs and creates songs, and then the difference between that and an artist, right?
Yeah.
Like I was even thinking, the other day I was out, clothes shopping, and I remember years ago, a good buddy of mine, a mentor, was telling me that like I need to think about like the Omido Beats character, basically. And he was
Yeah.
like, you need to pick out a wardrobe of like 10 clothes, and like every video you have to wear those, right? Because it's like, even and I always think, looking at like cartoon characters, right? Like Homer Simpson always has the same outfit, right?
Yeah.
And he has this style and this character to him, right? And Omido Beats or Moonlander, like these should, I don't mean in any bad ways, but it's like, we're in some ways, presenting this character, and I don't mean
Yeah,
that
for
in any
sure.
bad ways, but it's just like focused on like, who do we present ourselves to the world, right? And I think it's something that a lot of people they don't think about, or it's something that also takes a lot of time, right? To get there. And I love what you said about how it's like a difference between just someone who makes music and an artist, because it's something that a lot of people kind of don't pay attention to. And I kind of want to, I guess, pivot or kind of piggyback off that question a little bit and talk about AI and music. And I think that this is kind of a little bit of a good segue. So on the YouTube channel here, LALAL.AI is a product that uses AI to basically split vocals and stems from any song. And you and I use it a lot, when you're working on song demos and you send it to me and I split your vocals and, remake, other beats or add stuff to them. So it's definitely helpful with you and I speeding up our workflow. And then I'm definitely interested in getting your opinion on AI and music, because
Yeah.
I think, we might even have different opinions from artists like yourself, to a producer like me. But I think, sometimes when I see like these AI tools come up, like songs that you can just or websites that you can just type a couple sentences to and it spits you back this song, right? And I
Yeah.
think sometimes I'm like, oh, that's just like in the moment, I feel like sometimes I get like a little bit like fearful and worried. I'm like, is this going to replace me? But then I think that like what AI can't do is be an artist,
Yeah.
be someone
I
like
like that.
yourself, right? Someone who is, open with their fans, vulnerable, showing videos of yourself in the studio. AI, like, even though it can make music, how can it like do all that, right? And over
Yeah.
time, especially like if you posting yourself online so many times, even this morning, I was, looking up a few notes just for the intro to this podcast, and I saw all your YouTube videos of tour recaps and stuff, and it's like I feel like for me as a fan of your music, it's so easy for me to connect with you and see, what you're doing and just kind of love your music, but also like who you are as an artist. And that's one thing that I think that AI, even though it's helpful in some ways, it can't replace being an
Yeah.
artist, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I'm definitely kind of interested in hearing your thoughts on AI as an artist. Are you
Yeah.
for it? Are you against it? Are there any things that you use when it comes to AI? Like, what do you think about
Yeah.
it as an artist?
I grab like my Picket. I'm like, no AI. No. But no, I actually do think I would say AI is like so sick in so many different ways. Like the tool we use, like
Yeah,
awesome. It
it helps
literally,
us out, it speeds up the
yeah,
workflow like crazy. Yeah,
it would save like that's like 10 to 15 minutes every session. Like it
at
saves
least.
time
Yeah, at
saving.
least.
That's sick. I personally, I think AI is sick in so many ways. Like before AI, like I'm dyslexic, so like my grammar is actually terrible. But
Yeah,
like I would always have to like send stuff to my friends to like correct my grammar. And
yeah.
now like literally I can go on my Snapchat and like and it will fix it in like 5 seconds. Like
I
I don't
do the
even need
same
like
thing sometimes. Sometimes
yeah.
I'm writing like a super long email and I'm just like, okay, this is just like I'm just
Yeah.
going on a tangent, right? So sometimes I'll use like, Chat GPT or something. I'll be like, summarize this for me, right?
Yeah. And I love that. It's amazing. Cause then it comes out, I'm like, this is so professional. Like this is so it. I would say also what I use music wise when I'm submitting lyrics, like you can
Yeah.
do a thing now where like it can automatically like detect the lyric you're saying
Okay.
because I don't write anything down when I'm singing. So I
Yeah.
don't have like lyrics. I can't just like copy and paste them when I'm submitting my lyrics. So every time it's like,
Oh, you have to like listen back.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it's like
So
transcribing the audio, right?
yeah, I would say a lot of times on my TikTok, like, you'll see like an AI Drake song. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like that. Like,
Yeah.
I like immediately will skip it. I feel like I don't even want to give it the my engagement on TikTok
Yeah.
for it to keep giving it to me. But I would say I feel like there's a like a fine line of like good and bad, and I feel like the bad I don't think will be able to really like come into the industry. Like I'll be surprised if there's ever like a Drake AI song that he drops. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he did. He didn't tell me about
Yeah.
it.
There
Like, you
was
know what I'm saying?
a song on the recent Kanye album that people think he used AI for his own voice. I mean, that
Uh-uh.
album is getting like horrible reviews anyways,
Yeah.
but like there's a song on it and I'm the same thing. I didn't even want to give it like the time of the day to listen to it, right?
Yeah.
But people are saying that like they heard a I guess a leaked demo version from one of the artists that, writes his stuff and records demos. And when it came time for the album, he just took that artist's voice, ran it through a voice changer for Kanye and put it on the album. And he's getting a ton of backlash from it, right?
You gotta send me
Same
that. I want to
thing.
check it out.
Yeah, I think it was the song, I think it was Sky by Kanye. I didn't really even listen to it because I can't even get into stuff anymore. But like
Yeah, I feel
I
like it's
feel you
up.
like there's that line between like, it being used in ways that speed up workflow, like, you and I using it to just basically, yeah, just get
Yeah.
us from point A to B quicker, right? We're still having fun, we're still being creative. But then yeah, there's also the songs that just like take all the fun out of it, right? And I feel like, and this is probably something that I guess like you can relate to, especially the all your background of making music and having fun recording with your friends. It's like I feel like if I were to go to a website and it just spits me back a completed song, I'm like, where's the fun in that? Like, I feel like I would have a finished song and then be like, what now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like also it's crazy. I was just thinking about this the other day. Like I was thinking about I know this will go back into music, but if I had AI when I was in high school, like what would that be? Like
Yeah.
you can literally scan your homework and it will be done in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, do people know that like times are like how do we get around that? Like and also where's like the line even with music? Like how do we know if it's AI or not?
Yeah.
Like is there
I
a
think it's
AI tool
like,
for that? That like
I
this
don't
is
know, man. I'm interested in to see like what comes like next. Like I feel like there's always going to be like, creative people like you and I out there who just like always want to just make something, right?
yeah.
And like they love, recording songs with their friends or just that, thrill of creating something themselves, right? I think that there's also going to be people who just always want to take the easy way out, right? And
Yeah.
just get rich quick schemes, basically. People are going to think it is, but I think that that's just like when I think about, things like that, like, people making these Drake songs and people just making AI songs. I just think that like I feel like they're almost like so forgettable in a
Yeah.
way, right? And it's just like I don't know, like we were talking about, like, you sharing your stories with your songs, and all of a sudden you give people this artist to connect with and to watch on a day-to-day basis. And when I think about that, I'm like, okay, I feel like AI isn't capable of doing that because
Yeah.
at least like there's no AI robot who's filming themselves in the studio, being like, "Hey guys, I'm working on this song. Comes out in 2 weeks. Here's like, all the behind the scenes stuff, right?" And AI kind of skips over that, and I feel like that behind the scenes stuff is just like super important. And I think that there's in these next few years, like there's going to be kind of a bigger push for that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I think even from like companies like with so many like fake reviews and so many just like people like making stuff, it's like I think that brands and companies are going to want to connect with real people who have like a
Yeah.
real following online. And that's why I think like the influencer space is only going to grow because people are going to want that like human, authentic, organic
Yeah.
content, right?
That's what I think is gonna be cool. Like, I guess when we have kids, Amito,
Yeah.
but it's like to see like the way like obviously like the way like we grew up and like figuring things out. It's gonna be a whole different way of like them being like, oh, I can just have that done in 5 seconds. You'll be like, what?
Yeah,
No,
it's
go
I can't even
go
like
do
wrap
it.
my head around it.
But definitely some cool things. I enjoy. I love AI. I just I think the only thing I don't like AI for is the false, like being able
Yeah.
to put someone's voice. That's like my only like negative for it.
Yeah. No, I'm the same, man. There was a song on the recent Childish Gambino album. It was one of my favorite songs. And then I was looking into it a little bit
Was the album
and
good?
I really like the album, yeah. And there's this song on it that I guess that like they took like AI vocals. Like there was an AI generated song on like Twitter or something, and then it ended up like on the album. Like they like reworked it all and made it like Childish Gambino style. But like I don't know, I think like something kind of fishy like happened behind the scenes because like there's
Mm.
no really like collection of it online, and hopefully I don't get like shut down for like exposing in this podcast. So like I was like I feel like kind of like I don't know, almost like a little bit like disappointed. Like I was like this is like my favorite song on the album. And then I
Wow.
found out that like I guess like a producer or a songwriter that he worked with like kind of ripped it off an AI song. And then I
Mm.
guess like, Gambino and his team is trying to like make it right. But like when I found that out and I heard like the AI song, I was kind of like bummed out a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel the same way.
Yeah.
I almost don't like to like hear the songs because sometimes I like them and I'm like, no.
It's like, yeah, I shouldn't like
Yeah.
this, right?
Why do I like this? Go away.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how kind of it evolves. But like what I always come back to is just like I like AI for ways that kind of help me be more creative and do
Yeah.
things that I'm not capable of doing myself. But like I think that like there's definitely that line between good and bad, and I don't know. I'm hopeful. Hopefully, I'm not too naive, but I hope that like people are gonna always respect the artist and connect with them. And I think like, humans are always wanting that, human connection, that, desire to connect and relate with people. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah. So I wanted to ask you too, like, what is your process from recording a song from start to finish? Because it's also something that I don't know, the whole
Yeah.
songwriting and recording vocals aspect. Just kind of interested to hear, what it's like, from start to finish.
So it's cool because obviously, for those that don't know, this year I decided to do a song a week, right? That was my goal. And as I started, it feels like I've progressed 10 years in 1 year. Like
Okay.
because of all the shots I'm taking. It's shot, shot, shot.
Yeah.
Every week's a new shot, right?
Hmm.
And I've noticed too, like my recording like styles is changing. Like things are like changing with like how I would do it and how I do it now. Like before I started the song week, like I would sit here and write every word. I'd be like,
Yeah.
I mean, now it's basically every single night, I would say maybe like 1 or 2 days a week, I don't record, right?
Yeah.
I just like can't sit still. Like if I go in there and watch a movie, like I feel like very uncomfortable. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't feel right. Um, so I'll come in here, put the mic on, have some of these, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Drink the Landers lemonade. And then I'll uh I'll just freestyle. So basically like put on a million beats and I just like I let the beat take me there, right?
Yeah.
Do a one take, I don't stop, one take, start to finish. I'll sing. Normally that includes like me with a bunch of voice cracks, me with things I don't know what I'm doing, like might just sound like throw up on a song.
Yeah.
Normally a lot of times I just try to focus on like the hook on that song because to me like I feel like if you don't have a great hook then
Yeah.
there's no point really because like I've used to have times where I had like the best verses and I'm like, oh my God, this verse is it. And then the hook just wasn't it for me. And then I don't use the song because it's like,
Yeah.
what's one great verse? To me, I don't know. Maybe that's my
I feel the
thoughts on
same.
this.
I always view my choruses as like this is the part that's gonna get stuck in people's heads,
Yeah.
right? So it's like
I
I always need to make sure that that's like the catchiest part.
yeah, for sure. So 1,000,000% agree. So then basically then what I'll do is some nights I'll make like 10 freestyles, some nights I'll make 3 like and so what I try to do is I know like I'm annoying to my friends and also when I come to you I try to like I could show you about 30 of them but I'm like we
Yeah.
don't got time for that. So then what I like to do is I like to get there definitely are some songs where I'm like I'm making this regardless. Like don't
Yeah.
wouldn't even need to show it to anyone. I'm like, yeah, I'm making this. Sometimes that could be like I already know it's a hit, or like that could just mean like it's super like meaningful to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm making this. So then normally I show my friends and like what I like to do is just like again, I'll show them that freestyle and they're like, yes. Or they're like, uh-uh. Because to me, I'm
Yeah.
like, I know I truthfully feel like, and this is for any artist, like if I really sat down and took the time on like any of these songs, like I don't think I could create a bad song.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it would be a hit or your favorite song by me, but I don't think it would be a bad like I don't think you'd be like, this is
Yeah.
a bad song. Like it may just not like spark up juice in you. But so then what I like to do is I call my boy Omito up. I'm like, Omito, got this track. Normally when I come to you, I have like let's say I showed them like 10, I'll probably have like the best like 3 out of
Yeah.
the 10. And then I'll show you them. And then I kind of like to get whatever vibe you're feeling. I like to see that spark in your eye where you're like, I like this.
Yeah.
Cause then I'm like, let's get it. Cause it's also cool, like when you're working with people, like I want like you to be excited about it too. Like if you're not excited, like I don't want to feel like you're like, oh, this song's just not
Yeah.
I'm saying, but we're still working on it because then I also feel like that the end product won't be like made with like the love it needs to have behind it. So, and then me and you will boost it up, and then normally I will record truthfully and like fully, and then it's also cool with the song week. I have like a lot of songs, so right now like I am getting the opportunity to like have to listen to these songs like for a long time. Like they're like 5 months old, some
Yeah.
more than that. So sometimes I'm like, all right, let's go change this. And it gives me more time to like really sit on it or like also sit on it to be like, do I even like this? Like, I think we've definitely had probably like, doesn't seem like a lot, but like 10 or 15 songs we made that we haven't like
Yeah.
did where I'm just like, uh, but, and then I just plop it out. That's basically the recording process of
Let's work
this.
on the next one, right?
Yeah. It's
So
always the
yeah,
next
just
one.
that cycle. Like I know that one thing you mentioned that I think is kind of really interesting is just like this process of, doing one song a week and I've been doing it like pretty much the whole year and we're almost in September now, right?
Yeah.
Um and it was like interesting when you said that like you feel like you've kind of progressed, years ahead through this process, right? Which I think is really interesting. Would you like recommend artists to do a similar thing, like releasing music once a week? Or like what advice would you give to people, let's say they're just starting, they're still learning, they're, little pickles, they're still, just
Yeah.
kind of getting the feel,
Hey,
like making fun songs, but they have that, dream and that ambition and that spark within them. Um, you know, from your position where you are now, what advice would you give to them, an artist who is, trying to put themselves out there?
if you're a new artist, here's what I say you should do, right? And just I'm not an expert, right? I'm not claiming nothing, but what I've noticed and even in myself and being able to be in the situation I'm in now, I can look back at my old self and be like I was like that. And like I think we all come up for people that want to be a real artist and be, lock into their artistry is you almost end up hurting yourself by wanting to be such the artist you want to be, right?
Mhm.
Because you have so many like things. Oh no, I can't do it like that. I can't be like this. Oh, cover art's got to be like this. Oh, I don't like the mix. There's a million variables of like the artistry bringing, right? Like this needs more of that. This needs more of this. And I would say that's like everyone's biggest flaw is like, I would say until you have like, I'll just say a million, right? A million monthly listeners I think you should really care less about, and that's not to say don't care at all. That's just to say to care less and like
Yeah.
in a good way. Like make the music, don't put it out if you don't love it, but just make it and put it out because what I found again is like all of us as artists, like we actually are our biggest like enemy. Like
Yeah.
we're the one hurting ourselves the most. And like I know people with 60 listeners, right? That are like try so hard to be like this artist. Like they're doing this photo shoot and that and putting all this money into something that's not even gaining that return, right? So it's like, and I used to be there too. I'll be like, no, it has to be art. Like this video has to be like this. Like I'm not dropping this song until we do a 2 month campaign and we have this music video with it and all. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the
Yeah.
day,
It's just all these kind of roadblocks, right? And
yeah,
you're just filling like your to-do list basically now,
yeah.
right?
And I think that just hurts you and us. And that's one thing I would say if you're a artist and you want to become the true artist you want to be, like you should just be throwing out shots. Like
Yeah.
I know some people are like, even myself, I used to be like, I'm not making music if I'm not feeling it. But
Yeah.
I feel like I unlocked like something in my brain by like changing my mindset of like, again, obviously you can't just be like, I'm gonna change my mindset today.
Yeah.
But when I started doing the song week, I started caring less, and because of that, I'm letting people decide what is good to them, right? Like I dropped 20 songs, like maybe the 20th one is what I see the biggest spike in streams. I'm like, well, people like when I do that. So, all right, let me kind of do a little bit more of that. Okay.
Yeah.
Another 10 songs. I just learned with these 10 songs, like, oh, people didn't like when I did that. So let me do that less. Like versus even myself, I think I would drop like, I mean, I've always dropped like an album every year, but like 5 singles and stuff. Like, and you're just waiting. It's like you're not growing. Like
Yeah.
we all try, us as small artists, like we all try to be like the bigger artists, but we're just not that. Like we're not that yet. You know,
Yeah.
not to say you won't be there or anything, but like we're trying to put ourselves in the shoes of people that have millions of dollars to put behind their music. Like any artist you see, like you can all like we all struggle. Like we all none of us have $1 million to throw on a music video and all this. Like it's all money that we are making, putting it back in. So I think also like advice to anyone is I would say it doesn't have to be the song a week, but at least like every 2 or 3 weeks, and just once you start like also holding yourself accountable, like you won't like let it slide. Like even my boy Depreston, like he started doing the song a week thing with me,
Yeah.
and like he'll be like, bro, I gotta like you'll almost like like I think a lot of times he has like times where like the song like is creeping up on him of like, oh, I gotta post.
Yeah.
But like it also like makes he's like, oh, I can't hang tonight. I gotta go make sure the
You gotta
song's
do
in.
it. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So it's almost like you hold yourself accountable, like, oh, I have to do it. So
Yeah. No, I
I would
like
say
that.
take the shots. Take the
I like
shots.
that. I feel like it's almost like working out, right? It's like you're not going to become like, in better shape just from working out like once or twice a
Yeah,
year. You know what I mean? It's like
sure.
it's a weekly habit that you can get into. And like your grind and doing these songs a week has been just crazy motivational to see. And I love hearing that, it inspires, people around you to do the same. And it's something that I just yeah love that process and holding yourself kind of accountable. And I was chatting the other day with another producer of mine, and I was kind of talking about the same thing, how I just want to like put out more of my own beats because the past few months like I've just kind of been busy working on other projects, and I like kind of was slacking a little bit on my own releases. And then I kind of figured out that with myself, it's like when I don't have stuff in the works, it's almost like this like panic sets in, and this like all of a sudden I feel like I got to make everything right. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I just got to basically like scramble at this point to put out a new song because I haven't in a while, or do some new beats I haven't in a while. But I think that it's like now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, okay, I just want to make sure that I'm like, putting out more stuff often. I like am such a big fan of like scheduling stuff in advance too. Because like I
Yeah.
feel like if you have like, the next 5 weeks of content, like,
It feels good. You're like,
songs, TikToks, etc. scheduled, it's just like, I don't know, for whatever reason, like whenever I hear that someone has like songs scheduled out in the future, I'm like, that person has like their stuff together, and I just like am super motivated by that, right?
yeah. It definitely feels good. Like I love seeing in my Spotify like the songs there. I'm just like, let me just chill for a second. Like
Yeah.
nice. But yeah, you gotta I feel like you just gotta want it so bad because again, like I said, there's so many people making music and there's so many people like working harder than you. There's people working harder than me, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's pretty tough to
Yeah.
do because I'm working out here. But hard work always beats talent, like every single time.
Always. Yeah.
Like you again, I could name you 10 people, the most talented people you've never heard that have 50 listeners.
Yeah. Or there's songs just on their hard drive, right? And
Yeah.
it's like, I wish I could hear this song on
Yeah.
Spotify, right? Just a
And
matter
you'll
of getting
never hear
yourself
about
out
it.
there. Yeah.
Some of the best artists will never hear it because they can't go hard.
Yeah. No,
It
I
sucks,
love what
but
you said. The hard work definitely like beats talent at the end of the day, right? And
every
then it's like
time.
then you become talented at, you know, putting yourself out there, holding yourself accountable, like doing all these releases and all of a sudden having a huge, catalog at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I love what you said. And I think I just wanted I guess, kind of wrap this interview off with just kind of wondering what's next for MoonLander? Now that you have been putting out these songs a week since basically the beginning of the year, I see you got that, product placement there. Just what would you say is next for MoonLander? What is this next, rest of this year, next year? What does it look like?
I definitely one I do have my own drink called Lander's Lemonade. Check it out. Drink it up. We're gonna
We'll
do a bunch
leave if there's a link, we'll leave that in the
yeah.
description for sure.
We're gonna do a bunch of cool stuff with that. I I kind of got to a point with the song a week thing, which there's obviously pros and cons, and like the cons are like it's hard to like build excitement for like what I'm saying, things I've
Yeah,
dropped
because
because it's
it
like
moves so quickly, right?
I feel like a lot of like my fans know like if I tease a song, like it's probably coming out in a week. You know what I'm saying? Not
Yeah,
like, oh my God, I can't wait on it. It's like, well, I can't wait because I know it's coming out in 5 days.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, do I stop? Like, do I stop the song of the week? But also like from an algorithm, I always have trouble saying that word. Algorithm and Spotify stance, like I'm just going up. Like
yeah,
obviously, like I'm continuing to drop, just going up. So
yeah.
I thought to myself an idea. I'm like, how can I make the song a week like cool? Like, or how can I make it like marketable? Because right now
Yeah.
it's like I've been doing it almost the year. Like I'm sure not that people are sick of it. I think people love it. It's like why
Yeah.
you can't be mad at someone dropping every week because it's like if you don't like the song that come out this week, you'll listen
It
next
is
week.
yes for
Yeah,
the next one. Yeah.
it doesn't hurt. So basically, right now I am going for the Guinness World Record of the longest consecutive weeks dropped with the song. So that's my plan right now. I'm gonna keep going. The record's 72 weeks. Um, I'm gonna beat the record, and I'm gonna get a plaque in here of a Guinness World Record thing.
Nice. That's
Um,
crazy.
that's one thing. I have this feature right now. I'm really hoping to get. Um, if I get it, it's someone I'm about to go on tour with. So if I get that, that'll be huge. Um, I've been also just trying to be very like more. I mean, I'm going crazy on TikTok. I drop 4 TikToks every day. That's also a goal of mine because you got to do it, right? I
Yeah.
used to, I used to fight it.
Yeah.
Now I again, I think I just kind of got like I just do it. It's not even like a question. Like it's a part of my day. Like
It's
I'm
like the
dropping.
it's like the song a week thing, right? Like I feel like it gets to that point where it's like you want to do it and then maybe after a few you're like, oh, this is like too much work. And then you like you said, you have to fight that and then it becomes more natural.
Yeah. And now I just do it now all the time. Like even like random stuff. I'm like, oh, let me film this for a TikTok.
Yeah.
Like it's already on my mind, right? Which is
Okay.
cool. And also, I think again, like even with the song week and the TikToks, like you care less. And I think when you care less, like I think that's when the outcome will come out better, right? Because
Yeah.
there could be there's going to be a time where I can care fully and sit right here and think about what I'm going to do, right? And have the team or the budget or whatever behind me, and then I can care real hard, right? And you're going to be like, "Oh my goodness, like
Yeah.
crazy." But I've been trying to become very more like community based and also like just like I don't know. I think I used to just be like so in my own world. Like we can all get lost in our own world. Like we've talked about it. Like even you just sitting in your
Yeah.
room, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of fail to you don't get to see the hundred of thousands of people that listen to your beats. Like
Yeah.
you don't get to hit a button right now. Like I'm sure right now there's someone like literally making a song to your beat right now. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we don't get to see that stuff, and I feel like it's so easy on the outside looking in for someone to be like, "Oh, Mito got a million subscribers, like
Yeah.
million views, like all this stuff." But it's like when you're that person in this chair right now, like all I see is trees. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
You don't
Like
see that. Yeah.
I'm not seeing even when I look at like the live people listening to my songs, like I don't see that. So it's like
Yeah.
it's definitely hard and getting stuck like in your world. And I think I was very stuck in my world. So I'm trying to become more involved in like community things around my city and like also being an advocate, which I think a lot of people need. And I didn't really lock into this year of like being able to like motivate and help like artists that are coming up because I think it's very cool to like be able to get advice from someone that's like just a tad step above you,
Yeah.
right?
And then
It's
like you
not
said,
like
someone who's whatever 50 weeks or whatever
yeah,
into this song a week thing, right?
and it's not like Drake giving you advice like keep going. It's like well
Yeah.
obviously Drake, I'm gonna keep going, but like thanks for the advice, but it's like someone that's like just a couple steps up the ladder than you can be like, here's what
So
you
you
need
can
to do.
see it. Yeah. I like
Yeah.
that.
So I think I always like told myself because I wasn't like where I wanted to be as an artist that like I couldn't help people.
Yeah.
But I've been noticing like a lot of people need help and they want it. So that's what's next for me. I'm just trying to be there more for the community and then also I just have a weird like feeling and itch that like something in the next 3 months is gonna pop. Like I just feel like it took me a long time of like fighting things I didn't want to do, like fighting the TikToks, like
Yeah.
fighting like even me being more like personable on my socials, like just not caring and like just showing like even if it has nothing to do with music, I'm like posting like videos of just about me. And I think it took me a while to really like jump into that. And now that I feel like I'm there, I think I just feel like something's like brewing right now.
Yeah. And I feel like that too. It's like if you stop, then you just cut off all chances, right? Like
Yeah.
I had a buddy of mine, when we were getting into making like Instagram content, like at first, he always told me that like uh he always feels like the next thing that he posts could be the one that blows up, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh,
he's never gonna like know until he does it, right? So I think that's just one thing that's like always kind of chasing that thing, and then along the way, I love what you said that like you progressed so far, and you get better with each one, and things become like more like easy for you to do, and all this stuff along the way, right? So it's like chasing this feeling and this goal, and along the way, just kind of bettering yourself, bettering your craft. I love that.
I even like I was telling my friend the other day, like I was super like blind to like auto tune.
Okay.
Like I think I got like you get so used to like having it that it
Yeah.
almost becomes like I don't hear it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's just my it's that like that's my voice. Like
Yeah.
I don't hear it. But now like every song I'm doing now like is like no tune on it. Like I really want to like
Okay.
lock in and like push myself also to like be a better singer. Not that I'm a bad singer at all, but like
Yeah.
not rely on that so much and just actually like if it's gonna sound good like me singing, it will sound good on the song. So
Yeah. I like
I'm
that.
locking on that. We got a country album coming up.
That'll be good. Yeah.
Giddy up,
That'll be a
giddy
good
up.
one.
And Yeah, we got about 2 albums coming out before the end of the year. So
Awesome, man.
we working.
Well, dude, that's awesome, man. Well, dude, I will link all of your stuff in the description, but I guess if you just want to give a quick plug to where people can find you if they want to, learn more about you, see what you're doing, hear your songs, where's the best place for people watching this to learn more about you?
Hey y'all, it's me, Moon. If you want to check me out, it's MoonLander on Instagram. And check me out on TikTok, Mooney Sing Songs. Mooney Sing Songs. Y'all hit me up, DM me. I'm always here to help. Let's talk. Let's
Awesome,
chat.
man. Well, yeah, we'll leave all the stuff in the description, but man, dude, thank you again for coming on this podcast, this video here. It's awesome to learn, man. I appreciate you giving all this advice and knowledge and everything.
Maybe we can work on something soon, Amito. Me and
Yeah,
you.
man. Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it though.